My name is Maayan Goldstein, and I am a 25-year-old business owner and FMG Bikini Pro. I started my athlete journey at a really young age. I was a competitive swimmer from the age of 8. So I was training about 9 times a week, from when I was 8 till I was 19. When I was 19 or maybe around 16, I dropped off a little bit. I was probably training around 6 times a week. But then I decided to get into bodybuilding. So I left my swimming, I guess, career in my swimming path. And yeah, I did my first show when I was 21. My feedback was to grow and obviously develop. So I took 2 and a bit years off, and then I came back at 23 and got my pro card in Vegas. And then I did my pro debut last year in LA. So I was 24. And I've had my own business for 10 years. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
So you've really been, in the world of fitness and sports and competing and all that kind of stuff forever, really. And does it seem like it's just who you are at this point? Hey, weight room listeners, looking to transform your fitness coaching business? Let me introduce you to Trainer Revenue Multiplier. With values like integrity, passion, and growth, they provide unparalleled training for fitness coaches like you. Whether you're just starting out or an experienced coach, TRM's got a package tailored for your growth. Jumpstart your journey with the silver package or elevate your game with the gold. And for those who truly want to redefine success, platinum's your next step. Don't just train, thrive with TRM. Check them out using the link in the show notes.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously with online coaching, I live and breathe this lifestyle. Like it's not just something that I can kind of switch on and off. So I think that it's really important that I can live and breathe all of this. Otherwise, you don't have a selling point really. But yeah, no, I eat healthy all year round and I love training because I love training. So I don't change anything when I do a prep. Obviously you're just a little bit more dialed in. But yeah, nothing changes in terms of like my everyday kind of routine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny to hear you say, you dialed it back and you went to 6 days per week. That's so funny because it really does fit like the bodybuilder mold in so many ways because every day, regardless of if you're training or not, you're still doing the habits and activities that are required within the sport of bodybuilding. And I can assume, swimming and being like super ingrained in that for so long, did it prepare you mentally to have this mentality of like, it's going to take me doing this day in and day out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from I'd say probably around 10. Like I was getting up at 3:30 in the morning every morning to be in the pool from 5:30 till 7. And then obviously I'd go to school. And then I'd be training again in the afternoon from 4 till 6. So I think like that discipline of swimming and swimming definitely taught me a lot in terms of the discipline, but also, if you want to work hard or you want to achieve something, you have to be able to put in the work and put in the effort. Um, and even with swimming, like it was a similar thing. I guess there is a lot of things that, go hand in hand with swimming and bodybuilding. Like swimming, you also couldn't switch off or, you couldn't eat just whatever you wanted whenever you want. So yeah, I think there was a lot of things that I took away from swimming that maybe I didn't always realize, went straight into bodybuilding. But yeah,
Did you have like the notion that of what it all encompasses and what's all, kind of included in doing it?
honestly, probably not. I went into my first prep really, I guess, with a blindfold on. There's so many things that people can tell you and advice that people can give you. And obviously, I had an amazing coach and she was literally there for me for everything. But nothing prepares you for really the hard work and the dedication that it takes to achieve what you want to achieve. Obviously, I was also 21, so I was at uni at that time, so I was studying and working. And yeah, you've got to really be able to juggle. everyday life and all the little habits as well. There's all these other little things, just in terms of meal prepping your foods and getting your steps done. Like there's so much more to it. It's not just get on stage in a nice bikini. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of effort and a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that sometimes people don't get to see. And yeah, I didn't know that there was so much work that was going to go into it. But I still wouldn't do anything differently.
And how did you actually get introduced to bodybuilding and decide to do it?
That's a really good question. I actually was just following some people on Instagram and I saw the posing, I saw the bikinis, and I just knew that that was something that I could do. And I was just looking at these videos and I was like, one day that's going to be me. And I remember doing an interview after my first show. I did say to them that, like, I'm going to come back bigger and better and, like, I want to get my pro card. So, yeah, I just went after it and I'm going to keep going after it. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely a lot of work and there's a lot that not everyone understands sometimes.
So after, talking about that first show and that first experience, did you coming right off the stage or even maybe on the stage, did you know like I was right? This is something that I can do. This is something that I want to continue doing or did you have a time period of all of like thinking about maybe not doing it again or what was that like right after?
Look, I think the nerves just before you get on stage, anyone that has done it um, would understand what I'm talking about. But it's this mix of like adrenaline and nerves, and it's the most exciting thing that you're about to do, but it's also the most terrifying thing. So just before I went on stage, I like, was thinking, is this really something that I can do? I'm also thinking, I don't want my bikini to break. I don't want to stack it on stage. Like I don't, imagine falling over in front of thousands of people. Like that's not fun. So there's a lot of things that goes on, behind the scenes there, but um, no, I just knew that I could do it and I knew that it was something I wanted to do. And it's really just more about the journey. And I love the process of prep. I love every day getting up really early, getting everything done, ticking all the boxes off, going to bed really satisfied that you have had an incredible day and that you've done everything that you could. So I really love, yeah, it's not just about the show day. For me, it's just about getting to the stage. And I remember the night before I got my pro card, I was in Vegas. I had my final check-in with my coach in her hotel room. And I actually went to her hotel room to try and tell her that I wasn't going to step on stage the next day. I said to her that I set out with a goal because my goal was to obviously beat my last package. And I knew that I had already done that before I had even gotten on stage. I dropped 17 and a half kilos. I'm not sure what that is in pounds.
Maybe
Um,
35-ish, 40-ish maybe.
so I dropped that in just over 20 weeks before I got on stage. So to me, I have never looked like that. And that was a win for me. And I literally went to her hotel room to tell her that I don't feel like I really need to go on stage tomorrow. I've already won. And she said to me, I'm really happy to hear that. And like, I completely agree. But you've paid all this money, you've come to Vegas, you're getting on stage tomorrow. And yeah, luckily she did that because I got my pro card. So yeah, really crazy.
That's a funny story to go from like being right on the edge of having, not that you knew it in that moment, but getting your pro card to potentially not even getting on stage to compete for it. So, I mean, for you, when you got off the stage, earning your pro card and having that probably right there in your mind of like, oh man, I almost didn't even do this. How did
Yeah.
that push you afterwards? Like, how does that make you push yourself out of your comfort zone and knowing that like maybe what I want is really just on the other side of like making a decision to do it? I know a lot of you are coaches and trainers. Ever feel like your fitness coaching business could achieve more? That's where Trainer Revenue Multiplier comes in. They're not just about training, they're about transforming your passion into profit. Dive deep into value-driven coaching with TRM's unique approach, ensuring you stay true to your integrity while driving growth. From beginners to seasoned pros, they've got a package tailored just for you. So whether you're aiming to turn part-time into full-time or multiply your revenue, TRM's got your back. Check them out at trainerrevenuemultiplier.com.
Yeah, look, I think that it was something that I was definitely not expecting. It was definitely something that I was obviously working towards and hoping. But you don't usually put those things in your head. You know, if you're about to go do something, when you are about to do it, it's not always just about the win. It's not always about the pro card. And yeah, for me, it was really that whole journey leading up to the stage. I had also gone through quite a few things in my personal life. I've obviously graduated uni at that point, and there was just a lot going on. So for me, just making it to Vegas, that was a massive win. And I think going into the following year, which was last year, I was planning on taking the whole year off. And then I also just thought to myself, I might be missing an opportunity here. I'm still looking really good. I'm still motivated. So I went in for my pro debut. So I kind of had that mindset, it carried on throughout. So obviously after the pro card win, I then just continued. And I just really think that, you know, sometimes your mind can play tricks on you. And yeah, and I just think it's all about the experience. I had a really great experience in Vegas. There were a bunch of my other friends that also got their pro cards that show. So it was just this, whole moment on stage and after and celebrating in Vegas. I'm not really sure where else in the world you'd probably rather celebrate. Um, so yeah, it was really, really good.
Talking about though kind of the business side for a minute, because you mentioned your kind of longevity in the business side of fitness in the industry. I mean, is that something that you foresaw as like an opportunity when you started, or was it more like, let me just see what happens, let me just get into it because I'm interested in it, or what was kind of, if there was a plan there?
So I can tell you honestly that there wasn't really a plan. I basically started face-to-face personal training when I was 16. And honestly, I just fell in love with it. As I was helping more people, the sense of, I guess, appreciation when I was able to help someone else achieve their goals, when I was able to help someone else, achieve the body of their dreams or weight loss or whatever it might have been. It honestly just made me feel so good. So I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. My plan was to move online so that I was able to help more people around the world. Obviously, as my social media was slowly growing, that was able to be, more of an opportunity I could take. And then COVID happened. So in lockdown, I did end up going, fully online. And then that really helped me to, yeah, push and accelerate the online side of things. And so I've been online ever since, and it's honestly been the best decision that I ever made.
So what for you is are some of the biggest, I guess, differences, and maybe some good, some bad, but just differences in general when it comes to, how you trained before, in person more versus now online. I mean, what are some of those differences, especially maybe for coaches out there that you kind of had to adapt to and adjust to?
Look, I think that being a face-to-face personal trainer for so many years, it really did benefit me now in the online space because there's so many things that I can pick up from, just watching a form video that if I had just started online, there is no way I'd be able to give the correct cues and give the correct corrections to this particular client. But yeah, working face to face and really building rapport quite quickly with someone, because if you don't build that rapport, you've got quite an awkward session ahead of you. So that was really important for me as well. And I just think definitely communication skills were definitely built up, which I've then taken along to the online space. And definitely a lot of things that I learned from being hands-on for so many years, which have, yeah, definitely helped me a lot in the online space.
Yeah. And talking about being able to work with people online and what that means as far as helping potentially more people and more people around, the world as a whole and just whoever can be online with you. How does that, like, I've never thought about that before, but how does that impact like just the different geographies and like the uniqueness of different locations and how that like impacts people? I mean, does that impact at all like how you have to coach, how you have to communicate, or I mean, because like someone that is, very local to you probably has a lot of the same, experiences kind of, or a lot of the same like, ways of speaking or expressions or, even the smallest things, especially like over a text or an email, can sometimes be misread, especially if you don't have those kind of commonalities. So for you, I mean, how do you, not necessarily just in like the communication aspect, but in all aspects, manage to work with people with different backgrounds and, different kind of experiences like that?
Look, I think in the communication aspect, definitely language plays a part in all of this. I have had some clients, obviously overseas and Israel. Now, from Israel, I'm fluent with Hebrew, so I can speak to them in their own language. We can go back and forth between English and Hebrew. So, in terms of communication, that's kind of one side of things. With the typing and things getting, misconstrued, obviously that's something that I just take a lot of care with because you don't want someone to interpret something a particular way. But also, I just send a lot of like voice recordings on WhatsApp. So I kind of break down that communication barrier, and also that really helps me with building rapport with the client, and obviously the client feeling like they are getting something very personal from me. They're really building a personal connection with me, and they feel like their service is more like personable. Obviously, time zones is a huge thing and something to account for. Um, but honestly, the biggest difference would literally be the food. And I think that that's something that I'm also able to handle quite well because whenever I go overseas, I always make a massive effort to, walk around the supermarket, see what they have compared to what we have. Every time I'm in LA, I could literally get lost in a Ralph's or something because I just walk around all the aisles and have a look at all the new products that you guys have that we don't have in Australia. So I think the other thing is just working with the client and seeing what they have compared to what we have in Australia. So obviously brands are going to differ. But yeah, it's mostly just food because a gym is pretty basic. You've pretty much got the same equipment around the world. So yeah, it's definitely just more the food and the communication. The internet definitely makes it easier. Social media definitely helps with that as well. I think it just comes down to the fact that at the end of the day, I do live and breathe this. So I have not had a holiday since I was 16. So whenever I have traveled, which is quite a lot, I'm always working. So even if I'm out doing things during the day, I'm up a lot of the night working, or, vice versa. If I know that I'm going to be doing something in the afternoon, I'm working most of the day. So I'm just always working. And I think that it's always in the back of my head, whether it's clients asking me questions about the places that I am visiting and going to. Obviously, people on social media want to see what I'm eating, what I'm doing when I'm traveling. So that kind of makes me a little bit more conscious as well. I get, people commenting on, oh, like, is this the type of food that you eat over there? Like that type of thing. So it does make me a bit more aware as well. In terms of body types and goals, definitely going to the gym and seeing how people are training or how people are looking. That does give me a little bit of an indication as to maybe the trends in a particular country. But definitely social media has helped. And I think a couple years ago, there was this massive thing on, you know, being skinny, skinny being the goal, but really strong is the new sexy, and everyone wants to be strong. Everyone wants to be able to do, pull-ups and push-ups and all that type of stuff now. So yeah, and I'm all about it. I really want the girls to be strong, and I really want, everyone to just love their bodies, but also always want to improve themselves and work on themselves.
Mhm. Yeah, and that is a tricky balance to find, whether it be just life in general or bodybuilding, right? Like you're constantly being judged, whether it's by you or by the judges or by, your coach in a way. And so like that can be, of course, a good thing because you can learn, okay, I need to get better in these areas, but it can also certainly make you super critical and too critical at times to where you don't appreciate the work and you don't appreciate how far you've come. So, for you as a coach and as an athlete, I mean, how do you balance those two things?
Now, that is a winning question because I think that no one is perfect with this, and I'm definitely not perfect with this. And I think that I'm still working on that because when I'm so in everything that I'm doing, I don't always take a step back and appreciate how far I've come or what I've achieved. Even just, the start of this year, I've had a massive year already. And even, last year was a pretty big year for me as well. So I don't always take a step back and realize. So that's definitely something that I'm trying to be a little bit more conscious with, and definitely being a little bit more present, taking a step back, trying to kind of absorb everything that I've done. But I think as a coach, it does make it a little bit easier. I have a great bunch of girls who are also very supportive. And who message me the sweetest messages that, I inspire them and they're proud of me and that they appreciate me. So I think that does help with it as well. But yeah, I think that it's definitely something that I'm working on. It's a work in progress. I'll keep you updated. But yeah, I think that I'm always so focused on the next thing and how do I improve and what can I do better, that I don't always take a step back. So I think that it is really important to, yeah, have times of reflection and really be able to take a step back and look at what I've done. I do a lot of goal setting. And so when I do a lot of goal setting, I do separate it into, personal and fitness and business and all that type of stuff. But I would love to compete again. I'm not sure if the plan is the end of this year at the moment, or if I'm going to take this year off and go next year, which I have said every year so far. And then I've just spontaneously decided to do a show. So never say never at this point. But I would love to definitely compete again in another pro show, because I would love to win myself a crown. That would be the goal. But in terms of business as well, definitely just to grow my team. I have an incredible bunch of girls in Australia, who fly down when I do a photo shoot. So definitely to grow my team here and my base here, but definitely to grow more internationally as well, and really just create the community that I have here around the world. That is what I would absolutely love to do.
Best of luck. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing a little bit about you and your journey.
Thank you for having me.